Welcome back, everybody. It's day 3 of the ANC's National Policy Conference in Johannesburg. Delegates are expected to finalise the proposals presented to commissions. For more on this, we cross to our reporter at Nasrec in Johannesburg, Samkele Maseko. Samkele, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live. Now, before we, preview to what's expected today, day 3 and the final day of the policy conference, just quickly give us a wrap of last night's deliberations.
Well, Simpiwe, we have been giving you the latest from the briefings coming out of the commissions, coming from the various chairpersons of these commissions, such as Economic Transformation, Mamloko Kupai. In studio, we have been giving you the various analysis from our political experts, as well as our editors from Econ, Politics and International Relations. Yesterday, Mamloko Kupai, chairperson of Economic Transformation Subcommittee of the ANC, spoke about how they want to expand the mandate of the South African Reserve Bank, spoke about issues of land expropriation without compensation. Also, issues of the basic income grant came out of these commissions this morning. They're going back to plenary. The various chairpersons will be reporting back to plenary on the various resolutions taken at these commissions, which will be recommendations going to the 55th National Conference of the ANC to sit here from the 16th of December to the 20th of December. But that time around, it will be a much larger delegation. Over 4,000 branch delegates of the ANC will converge here at the Nasrec Expo Center for the ANC's National Conference. But this time around, issues of the economy became center stage at this policy conference, 6th of the governing party. I'm with political analyst Sandile Swana to further unpack what came out of the ETC commission. Mamloko Kubai speaking about land expropriation without compensation, the expansion of the mandate of the South African Reserve Bank. Did we anticipate these particular recommendations?
Thank you, Samkele. You'll remember that they said that it was probably the most well-attended commission. A lot of the heavyweights of the African National Congress were there. But these particular recommendations that you are referring to are old. The mandate of the Reserve Bank is a delicate issue, more especially when you compare it to the United States, the United Kingdom, and so on, where employment, job creation, and the expansion of businesses is also part of the mandate of those central banks. Unlike in South Africa, where ultimately monetary policy and just inflation targeting becomes the only point of the mandate. So yes, this issue is going to remain with us for quite some time, and the Reserve Bank eventually, I would suspect, it may not be now, but in the future, the mandate of the Reserve Bank will have to change.
Mr. Swana, when you look at some of the proposals around the South African Reserve Bank, it is Solima Paila, the General Secretary of the SABC, who spoke about the expansion of the mandates of the Reserve Bank to adhere to South Africa's triple challenges of poverty, inequality and development. But you've also had the SABC in previous years speaking about quantitative easing, where it was in essence the printing of money in order to try and ease the burden on the downtrodden within the country.
Yes, that is one of the things. The interesting part of this is that quantitative easing has been adopted in the European Union and elsewhere in the so-called developed world, or our colonizers in the West. But here at home, we are not following the people that we use as the gold standard. Obviously, when you use quantitative easing, you have to be prudent that those monies are used in productive investments, etc., etc. There's nothing inherently wrong with quantitative easing, and I suspect in the future it will have to come as well.
When you also look at the ETC Commission, the political heavyweights of the ANC were there, the likes of Chul Nechitenze were there, Sihlezi Galala, former chairperson of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, you had the likes of former President Mbeki, the president of the ANC himself, Cyril Ramaphosa, went to that commission, the national chairperson, Gwede Samson Mantashe, went there. When the Minister of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan, came under fire, particularly on the trajectory of power utility, Eskom, and also saying delegates being pretty much rough on the minister, saying we're hearing from the Americans on the type of energy projects and the just transition that South Africa is embarking on.
Yes, Pravin Gordhan in particular, from a political perspective, I think he has lost popularity and credibility. because the mismanagement of the SOEs has actually worsened since the 2017 conference, and Pravin Gordhan has been at front and center in that continuing mismanagement of those. At the same time, I think Jacob Maruga, who is the former CEO of Eskom, has actually said clearly that the measures that have been issued, other than the measure of repairing and refurbishing the existing power stations, are actually not measures that are going to attend to the problem of load shedding in South Africa. And there's a rush by Cyril Ramaphosa, as well as Pravin Gordhan, to embrace wholeheartedly dangerous measures which have already been shown in Western Europe that they are very dangerous. They don't provide security of dispatchable energy into the system.
When you look at the comments from the Mpumalanga ANC provincial chairperson, hopefully we will play that interview during the course of the day we had with Mandla Ndlovu, where he speaks about South Africa may be at the mercy of economic mercenaries who may be trying to sabotage the energy trajectory of the country and the economy with their proposals of moving the country from a base load of coal to renewable energy, which is a hot debate within this policy conference.
Yes, he can talk about the mercenaries very well, but the issue here is that the ANC itself right now is not a security conscious organization. Whether we are talking about them providing security for you and me, including energy security and any other type of security, it's an infantile approach to security. For instance, if you take our energy and you put it in the hands of the private sector, who are driven by profit, not driven by a mandate to make sure that you have energy 24 hours a day, regardless of where you are under all circumstances, you are actually exposing South Africans to enormous hardships in the future. They've done similar things in the fuels, liquid fuels, petrol, diesel, and so on. And we're starting to feel the vagaries of what wrong decisions are being made, exposing us to insecure supply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sandile Swana, political analyst, unpacking what came out of the Economic Transformation Subcommittee of the African National Congress. But that was not only the commission that reported back on the deliberations in its commission on yesterday's 9-hour-long deliberations in those commissions. Also had the Gender Equality Commission coming out and saying that South Africa may perhaps have to look at chemical castration of those who abuse women and violate them, as we've seen happen in Krugersdorp with those Basotho nationals continuously, repeatedly raping those 8 women in Krugersdorp. So in essence, the ANC in that particular commission of gender equality saying chemical castration must be one of the factors and issues that is looked at in this country to try and curb gender-based violence and the violation of women within this country. But also the International Relations Subcommittee led by Lindiwe Zulu, looking at South Africa's relationship with Eswatini, looking at South Africa's impact and influence within the SADC region, looking at the role that the ambassadors and diplomats of South Africa have to play in unlocking economic opportunities for South Africans in the various missions that they are deployed in. We'll further unpack those particular issues with our Foreign and International Relations editor, Me Sophie Mukwena.
All right, Samkele, thank you so much for that update. We'll check in with you a little later for yet another update. That was a reporter, Samkele Maseko, speaking to us outside Nasrec Center in Johannesburg, where the ruling party, the ANC, is holding its third and the final day of the policy conference.